So a little over a month ago, I put out a video discussing how anime accurate My Hero Ultra Rumble is, and y'all really enjoyed it. A lot of you asked that I make a part 2, and though it took a while, I'm finally back to fulfill that request. If you enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing. The first video helped my channel grow tremendously, and I appreciate all the support. Also, I have a Discord server. I haven't done the best job advertising it, so it's not the most active, but if you want a place to talk about Ultra Rumbles, Zenless Zone Zero, fighting games, or anything really, then check it out. The link will be in the description and pinned comment. Y'all left a lot of comments in the last video, many of which helped me catch some of the mistakes I made, so I'd like to highlight a few of them. I spent the last portion of the video ranting about Tech Doggy, mainly his alpha and beta, which I still think are dumb as hell. However, I didn't really talk about his gamma. I dismissed it as being another move that's within a character's capabilities, but not something they've actually done. But as it turns out, he actually did do this, and I feel so dumb for not remembering. At the beginning of Season 5, immediately after Endeavor's fight with the Hood Nomu, Dabi pulled up on him and Hawks, and yep, that sure is his gamma. Shout out to these fine individuals for pointing that out. Another mistake I made was with Monoma. I previously said this as a justification for why he shouldn't be able to copy One for All in-game. Now, unlike Toga's, I actually do wish this limitation was depicted in-game. Why, you may ask? I mean, why not? There are 35 characters in this game not named Izuku Midoriya. With all those possible combinations, it's not like keeping One for All as a dud would make him a worse character balance-wise. It'd just be a fun reference to make superfans like me smile. I think I only mentioned Deku because their fight in Season 5 is the only time we've seen him attempt to copy a quirk like that, aside from Eri, of course. And hey, if he was somehow the only character with a stockpiling quirk in the game, then I'd still hold the same belief. But he isn't. We have 2 All Mights, 3 All for Ones, and a Shigaraki with the All for One quirk. Making him unable to copy all these moves goes way beyond just being a cute reference. So yeah, my bad. I briefly mentioned Tech Shigi in the last section, but let's take a closer look at him for a second. His gamma has him use a super regeneration quirk, and aiming down sights causes him to use Ragdoll Search quirk. Pretty rudimentary. Things start to get weird with his alpha and beta, which are both attacks involving the weird fingered mutation shite he does in the final war, which is explicitly stated in the show to not be a quirk of any kind. So that begs the question. Why are characters like AFO, Monoma, and Toga still able to copy these moves? Despite being called quirk skills, a lot of characters have attacks that don't involve quirks at all. From Armored All Might, who quite literally doesn't have one, to characters like Shinso and Aizawa who use weapons, and typically have their quirk relegated to their special action button. To reiterate my point from the previous video, I know things are like this for gameplay reasons, and in no way am I asking Viking to make it so the characters can't copy these moves. But in a conversation purely about whether the game is accurate or not, this gives credence to the latter camp, even if it ultimately doesn't matter. So we're all familiar with the Delaware Smash, an attack where Deku fires off shockwaves of pressurized wind created by One for All. It's been one of his go-to moves since Season 1, and all 3 Dekus in Ultra Rumble feature it as their alpha. As just mentioned, this move is only possible due to the unparalleled super strength provided by One for All. So why is it that these 3 characters all have attacks which so closely resemble it? In Strike Kendo's case, this commenter pointed out how her alpha is a reference to Season 3, where she used her quirk to dissipate the gas created by Mustard. You know I like my references, so she gets a pass. Mount Lady is tricky because though I don't remember her doing it in the show, I fully believe that she's capable of launching shockwaves. In her giant form. As a normal-ass civilian Yu Takayama though? Yeah, no, sorry, she's not doing this. That goes for all of her moves in her base form, actually. Most egregious of all is this guy right here, Tech Mirio. What in the world is he doing? Not even just the air bullets, which he obviously shouldn't be able to do, but like, this entire move. What the hell am I looking at? I know he's rapidly going in and out of permeation. That part makes sense. But he's also like, flying? Covering? Now someone left a comment on my TikTok saying that this skill set is what Mirio would look like if he got One for All instead of Deku. A scenario they alluded to many times in the show. So maybe this is him combining Air Force with the float quirk? I guess? If that was the intention, then I feel like they should have made it clear, because otherwise this move is just weird, man. I don't understand it. Many characters have shields or reflectors in this game, and judging by the comments, they seem to be confusing to a lot of people, so I want to clear something up. Let's look at Strike Kirishima. I said how his other moves annoyed me last time, but I excuse his beta. But Geo, I hear you asking yourself, he's manifesting a giant shield, and Kirishima's never done that before. Well, look closely at his animation. All he's really doing is putting his arms up. Now they could have achieved the same effect by only having it cover Kirishima's immediate hurt box, but by making the shield larger, you're able to better fulfill the character fantasy of someone who put their body on the line to protect their teammates. In fact, every single shield in this game can be explained through character logic. Assault Kendo uses her enlarged hand to block, and Strike strikes a martial arts stance. Rapid Mirio covers his teammates with his cape, like he did with Eri in Season 4. Compress is simply catching projectiles, trapping them in marbles, then throwing them back. And Tokoyami has Dark Shadow block for him. Unlike those last few characters, I have no idea what Mike is doing here. I mean, it's creative, it's goofy, and I don't have him, but it's probably fun. But like, you saw the thumbnail. I don't need to say anything else. And that's all I've got for y'all today. I doubt I'll make a part 3, as I've pretty much said all I wanted to on this subject, so let me know what other Ultra Rumble content you'd like to see in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.